black president too much because it ain't really paying off. Or we could say he's Jackie Robinson and Willie Mays is coming. Right? We could say that.
Okay, all right.
Because just because what he's doing is what he's doing don't mean that's what he should be doing. And see, black people alone, we don't want to criticize him because he's the first one. We're trying to give him a break. You know, they have 44, 43, let him do his thing. If he mess up his whole first term, black people are like, oh, let him do his thing. Except, that would be cool, except there's too much at stake. That would be cool, except he ain't saying nothing about white social injustice, but he damn sure jumping on black people who messing up. So if you don't have the privilege in a society that this allows you, even as president, to weigh in on the intelligence of a white police officer, why are you going after black people that you know the dominant white culture already has stereotypes about? If you can't treat all your children equally, don't treat none of them anyway. Even a woman. So I know that's not where you want to take that. Forgive me for exploiting that particular point. But the point of amnesia, the point of dismemory, the point of memory, the point of pretending that now, in order for us to get along, the entrance exam is denial of history, that should not occur. It shouldn't occur on any side, even including in people of color communities where the consequence of that has to be dealt with. You got a question over there?
I had a question. You touched on this is the foundation of the churches, whatever. It's like
Start again. So
we touched on the churches and how they set that patriarchal system in the way of spirituality, which is a whole lot of our foundation.
Great.
And then it's like that's an unbalance, as you say, like that patriarchal system. How can we bring that balance back to within that church to bring it back to everybody else that goes for that spiritual essence? What was that spiritual essence is off balance anyways, because we take on the concept of spirituality that's not even originally ours.
Right.
How would you say we take that first step? Because that's a big step. Because a whole lot of people don't want to adapt to it. There's a whole lot of contradictions, like you mentioned, and other contradictions that you have mentioned. As far as spiritual nature and everything else, there's a diversity with that. I wonder if we can touch on it.
I'll let Reverend Marcia Dyson handle that as well. Let me say briefly, see, part of this notion of imbalance in terms of patriarchy and matriarchy is itself a very interesting question. There's no denying that just on the practical level, we want to see, just to take one particular religious experience, say black churches, we want to see more men in black churches. It would just be good for a variety of reasons. Sisters to see brothers, you know, and especially if you ain't going to the club, you know, blame it on the so you gotta blame it on the, because okay, I'm just joking, don't do that. Jesus got a sense of humor, calm down. You know, when you go up into the church, you know, it would be good to see brothers and more brothers there, because who all these sisters gonna marry? Look at these colleges. 65% of people in colleges now, people of color, happen to be women, men ain't going. Who they gonna marry, who they gonna be with, who they gonna talk to. I ain't saying marriage is the be all and end all, but people like to be together. So what's gonna happen? So just for that practical reason, it would be good to have brothers up in there. But it's not good to restore patriarchy in the sense of men dominating women to get more of them up in there. Even though sisters are at such a desperation point, they say, hey, just come here, you know, whatever you're gonna do. We can negotiate that. The problem is, I think, seeing as Daniel Patrick Moynihan did in 1965, the coming matriarchy was part of the problem, right? And we bought that argument. He said the coming matriarchy was part of the problem. Remember the 1965 report on the black family? So our prism has been shaped by a perception of matriarchy as a problem, which then argues against a certain kind of feminist understanding of how we got to reorganize the black family. And I think that the black family has to really take into account the fact that we just don't want to just wield authority over women. That's not what it means to me to be a man. To be a man is to be self-fulfilling, to be able to work in partnership with a woman. Your word ain't the last word. I said it. Just like with your parents. Why? Because I said so. Well, if you're a man, now some of us have tried that, because I'm the man. Right, honey? I'm the man. Good, right? We tried that. But I mean, we're just trying to dress up that kind of patriarchal authority. And women are sensitive to that because they know that black men get denied any kind of authority anywhere else. So we trying to compensate for it at the crib and at the church. Right? Because we go out into the world, we don't get recognized for who we are. They tell us to be real men and provide for your family, yet we don't have the means by which that can be exercised. We can't get the jobs. In New York, 1 out of every 2 brothers is unemployed. I don't care what kind of understanding you got. Just self-fulfilling and self-engaging, autonomy as a moral agent means. Not forget patriarchy. You need a job just so you can feel good about yourself, so you get up every day and go to work and provide for your family and yourself. Right? If that was 1 out of 2 white men not working, that would be a national tragedy and a shame, and we wouldn't take it. You could be in New York, Eva Page, sociologist at Princeton says, you could be a white guy with a prison record and have a better chance of getting a job than a brother with college. This is the structural thing that Professor Powell was speaking about. That's structural. It has attitudinal and dispositional consequences, but it's rooted in a structural inequality that prevails. So the thing is that when it comes to church, yeah, you're right. We have to ask those questions. We want to figure out how to get men back in. I know some churches try to do it by saying only men can be deacons, not women. That's not going to help. To reestablish patriarchy so that men can be drawn to something they can dominate. What about partnership? What about collectivity? What about collaboration? What about understanding women as, co-creators of the familial and domestic space? Now that's hard because America doesn't go for that. But we have to figure out a way to reorganize the logic of our own domestic situations so we can at least pay attention to the civil demand for partnership. And let's be real. I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but most women wouldn't even mind a guy acting like he in control if he would do the things to be in control and take care of the rest. I'm just saying. You know what? If you got a job and you paying the bills and you ain't beating me and you treat me with love and respect, go be the boss. Right? Now, I ain't saying that's right. I'm not even saying that's right. Because I tried that and it wasn't working. But what I'm saying to you is that women would even be more willing to hear an argument if we'd be willing to invest. And then men say if we had an opportunity to invest because society got its foot on our necks. How do we deal with that? So I think we have to rethink it. And spirituality is critical. I think spirituality is fundamental. And that's why I would argue against the kind of not only a patriarchal system, ultimately, but a heterosexist one, where we're scared of everybody but what we consider to be the so-called normal heterosexual people. Because one of the reasons why I think black people are so sensitive to heterosexism and to homosexuality is because our whole entire sexuality has been queered. Right? We were already seen as queer from the beginning. Strange organs, what we were still being raped. There was both revulsion and attraction at the same time. We were supposed to be inferior, but they couldn't get enough of the chocolate love. Right? Right? I mean, slave Thomas Jefferson writing notes on Virginia during the day. The Negro is incapable of abstract reasoning, but at night, he grabbed some Luther Vandross tapes and went on out. The slave taught him, don't you remember? I told you I loved you, Sally. Baby, 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 ooh, baby, baby. Okay, anyway. So, like what happened, Thomas? I thought you had a critical inquiry about the abstract reasoning of Negro. His loins contradicted his logic. And she was 14. That didn't start with R. Kelly, allegedly. I know you're saying, how dare you compare R. Kelly to Thomas Jefferson? You're right. Thomas Jefferson never wrote Step in the Name of Love. But he did have a little hit called The Declaration of Independence. Pretty cool. So my thing is, I think we have to deal with the deep and profound spirituality of a church and the institutional network that reestablished patriarchy. That has to be challenged. And then instead, not see matriarchy as a vicious assault, but to see partnership and cohabitation. But I know Reverend Marcia would like to say on that.
I read an article for Essence Magazine in 1999 called When Preachers Pray, P-R-E-Y, about the sexual